YouTube, time to tap in this week's chat. Today I'm talking to all of my Warzone players. Yes, all of my Warzone players who are going over to Apex Legends. My social media is completely flooded with so many Warzone players leaving, finally realizing that there is no light at the end of the tunnel at the moment. So I'm making this video as the top 3 tips that you might need to know as a Warzone player coming over to Apex, because there are a few key changes that you will need to know. I'm not trying to make this a complete basic tutorial guide. There's a lot of YouTube content for that, so I'm going to try to completely stick to the nature that you are used to Call of Duty and what you need to know coming over to Apex. Real quick, one time for the one time, if you like the video, like the video. If you love it, make sure you are subscribed, notification bell's on. And I would genuinely love to hear in the comment section if any of these things helped you, and something that if you have made this transition already that I might have missed. Tip number 1, this is obviously the most basic one and probably very obvious, but I just wanted to share this real quick. If you are coming from Warzone, there are 20 legends currently. Legends have a passive ability, a tactical ability, and an ultimate ability. You hear these tacticals referred to as a Q, an alt is an ultimate ability, and everybody has a passive. For example, my main, who is Wraith, what she can do is, when her passive is that when she's getting aimed at, you get an audio cue telling your team that you're, or telling you that you're getting aimed at. It's her tactical. She can do this all this crazy stuff. So I don't want to get in too much into detail about this, but just know that all of these legends play completely differently, and based on who the enemy team comp is, you need to know how to play that. There's teams that can take high ground from you with an ability. There's teams that can block off entry points. There's teams who can completely change the fight, and you need to know those abilities. So definitely find your playstyle. If you were an aggressive player like myself, definitely somebody got the bullets next to their name, just like you see Wraith and a lot of these other people. They definitely can help you with your 1v1s, and that's very, very important in this game, considering that fights take longer, which is something that we're gonna get into. Something that I did want to mention real quickly, all of these recon legends that have the UAV type thing up in the top right corner of their icon can scan beacons. There's beacons randomly placed every single lobby around the map, and when you scan those beacons, it shows the next zone, just like a recon would in Warzone. Something to think about, definitely very useful within the game, especially in ranked mode when you're trying to get positioning inside of the zone. Tip number 2 is going to be movement. Coming from Warzone, as somebody who is super prideful of their movement capabilities inside of Warzone, Apex takes this to a whole different level, but it's gonna feel completely unnatural. Let me explain. Warzone, you slide cancel. After 2 slide cancels, you have your tac sprint. Your tac sprint is your full movement speed. So in repetition, when you do those slide cancels into your tac sprint, you're almost constantly always at a full sprint. Apex is parkour. Essentially, there's wall jumps, there's wall climbs, there are strafing capabilities, and there are endless amounts of things that you can do with your surroundings. The biggest thing that you are going to notice is that you are going to feel slow, and that is intentional. Apex's movement system is completely based off of momentum. As you see me go down this hill, my jump will be much further than me standing still, and this is all intentional. So when you are trying to get full speed, there's gonna be one huge tip that I'm going to try to teach you. So as you see me slide down this hill, my jump is much further because I'm going quicker. So now that we're down by all the gun racks, the one big tip that I want to do with movement, a lot of this you just got to learn, but just know that it takes 3 steps to reach full speed with your gun out. 1, 2, 3. You can tell by the gun animation. 1, 2, 3. That's full speed. Now it takes 1 step when you have your gun holstered. I have an heirloom. It's the same type of thing. It's a long story about the heirloom. Let's say you're fighting a target. He's right here. You get a shot, but they're wanting to push you. The only thing that you can try to do is maneuver and re-peek somewhere else. What normal people do is you slide cancel out of it in Warzone, but I don't have any momentum base because I haven't taken those 3 steps yet. So I'm behind cover. I get a dead slide, or I don't slide at all because I have no momentum base. What you're going to try to do, the number 1 thing that this is what I learned and has helped me substantially in fights, is holster here, and then once you come out here, you're immediately sliding out of that. Where if you want to do it with your gun out, let's say you're fighting this guy right here, you're getting pushed, you need to give it 1, 2, 3, and then you can slide. Where, like I said, if you have your gun holstered, you shoot, somebody's trying to push you, you can immediately go out of it. So something to think about. Like I said, everything is momentum based, and then as you build speed, you can do cool wall jumps just like this and make teams miss. And the skill gap within mobility in Apex is literally everything. Last tip, there are no broken loadouts. There are no broken metas. Every single gun is balanced. Yes, there are guns that are more comfortable and are better situational for more situations, if that made sense. So I'm talking about weaponry because obviously all of us love attachments. All of us love to know what the best thing to run is and how to run it inside of Warzone to achieve the fastest time to kill. In Apex, there are obviously different health pools. Again, I'm not trying to make this a basic guide tutorial, but I want to let you know that every single gun is balanced and you do not get a loadout. So technically everything is coming off of ground loot. You upgrade those attachments by killing other people and finding them on the ground. The reason I want to talk about weapons is because you do need to get good at every single weapon because you have to constantly loot within the game. Which means you may not get your favorite loadout until end game or mid game or maybe ever. So you need to be able to be good with every single weapon. And I want to show you these two ARs, which are probably my two favorite ARs, which is the R301 and the Flatline. These guns have actual recoil. We talk about Warzone guns kind of having a little bit of recoil. Sometimes they are a little bit brutal, but these guns actually have recoil. So we're gonna go to a wall. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit. That was a 301 right there. We'll go to the Flatline to the right of it a little bit. So these are completely naked guns, no attachments on them. The issue with a lot of these guns is they go up just like in any Warzone gun, but they go left and right. So when you are spraying at range, that definitely is very, very hard to control. So just make sure that you are learning recoil patterns just like I did in Warzone. Learn the guns, get familiar with the guns, and hopefully that helps you become a better Apex player. Again, remembering the legends, all of their abilities, how to take those fights, and what best legend suits your type of play style as well. Mobility is all momentum based, and remember to build that momentum. And lastly, the guns, you gotta be good with all of them. They're hard to use, some are harder than others, and you gotta be good with all of them. Apex is an absolutely amazing game. It has a lot of potential, and I'm excited to see where this game goes with future seasons. Give it a try, let go of the ego that you might have had in Warzone, and try a game that genuinely makes you feel accomplished and makes you feel like you are really earning your stripes, as this game really does have a big skill gap. So you're gonna suck in the beginning, but keep going, keep trying, and you can watch me live on stream. I'll see you guys next one.